It's the Joel Shit Show, featuring Joel Shit. Hi, welcome to the Joel Shit Show. I'm your host, Joel Shit. So check it out. Registered voters at my address. Bing! Special edition. Special election. The first proposition is when Joel learns how to read. So there are 6, 1A through 1F, and we'll do one every day for the next 6 days. Proposition 1A is today. State budget changes California budget process, limits state spending, increases rainy day budget stabilization fund. Changes the budget process could limit future deficits and spending by increasing the size of the state rainy day fund and requiring above average revenues to be deposited into it for use during economic downturns and other purposes. Fiscal impact: higher state tax revenues of roughly $16 billion from 2010-2011 through 2012-2013. Over time, increased amounts of money in state rainy day reserve and potentially less ups and downs in state spending. So if you vote yes, it means that various state budgeting practices would be changed. In some cases, the state would set aside more money in one of its rainy day reserve funds. Higher state taxes recently passed would be extended for up to 2 years. A no vote means no changes would be made to state's current budgeting practices or its rainy day reserve funds. Higher state taxes recently passed would end by 2010-2011. People saying to vote yes say that it forces budget stability and accountability. It limits spending and mandates the bigger rainy day fund, forcing politicians to save more in good years to prevent tax increases and cuts to schools, public safety, and other vital services in bad years. People against Prop 1A say that the rainy day fund is a slush fund for pork barrel spending, and they capitalized pork barrel spending as initial cap. Pork barrel is now a proper noun. Could force service cuts even in good times, encourages unlimited tax increases, gives unchecked power to the governor. So, for more information, the pro people are cabudgetreformnow.com, and the people against it are voteno1a.com, or as I like to say, votenoon1a.com. Douglas Herman in Pasadena, California, 790 East Colorado Boulevard, Suite 506. You can call him at 626-535-0713. The people for it, their number is 866-978-3444. But yes, so that's all very exciting. Let's see. What else can we talk about for 1A? The people for 1A. Wrong. Boy, there's a lot to read here. The people for 1A are saying things like, we have to take action now to start reforming our broken budget system. 1A will force accountability and stability over the budget process. It stabilizes California's budget, stops out-of-control spending, protects taxpayers. It means long-term budget stability. It protects school, public safety, and other vital services. Act now to reform our broken budget system. And then the rebuttal, which is a good word because it has "but" in it. Well, the people that wrote that argument in favor, we have Teresa Casazza, the president of the California Taxpayers Association, Ed Bonner, president of the California State Sheriff's Association, and Dr. Glenn Thomas, California Secretary of Education. So the people using their butt and saying that what they don't like about that, they're saying that yes, that's what a rainy day fund should do, but what 1A does is it's not really a rainy day fund, it's a misnomer. It was hastily written in a secret back room. My grandpa has a secret back room. When I visit him, that's where I sleep. I get a lot of work done there. I like secret back rooms. No public hearings or independent analysis showing how it will work. Well, you're not required to do that. There's no way we would know how it would work because we've never done this before. It says that money will go into the rainy day fund even when the economy falters, not just during the good times. So where will the money come from in the bad times? I don't know. Same place all our other money comes from. China. Slush fund, pork barrel, still a proper noun. Fine print actually encourages tax increases. Well, technically, yes. It's so poorly written. That's the new one. Like in the last couple of elections, we've heard, like Proposition 7 in the last election, the energy one that I loved that nobody liked. It's so poorly written All of these are poorly written. They're written by lawyers. They use serial commas, and it's terrible. Don't get me started on poorly written. Nobody writes well anymore, but me. But you know, they should have me write these things. I'm sure being a government job would pay very well. Let's see. It could force cuts in vital services, even in good times. Well, technically, yes, it could. Anything could happen. Monkeys might fly out of my butt. It is a rebuttal, after all. We need a true rainy day fund, not a badly flawed 1A. Send the governor and legislature back to do it right. This is a special election. There's no sending it back. This is the best that we're going to get. If you don't like it, then we'll just have nothing. Don't act like saying... They're basically saying if you vote no on 1A, then they'll just come up with something else, something better. No, they won't. This is their one try, and this is what they came up with. So let's see. Anthony Wright, Executive Director of Health Access California, Kathy Sappin, President of the United Nurses Association of California Union of Healthcare Professionals, and Betty Perry, Public Policy Director of the Older Women's League of California. I just want to see how long I've been talking. Oh my. Because I got to keep it under 10 minutes or YouTube will say, fuck you, and then I have to start all over again. So, yeah. Alright, so the argument against Proposition 1A. So that was the rebuttal for that one. So then both sides get to say what they think, and then they both get a rebuttal. So that was the pro and the rebuttal. Here's the con, the no on 1A argument. Flawed measure filled with fine print and loopholes. Every proposition is filled with fine print and loopholes. Come on now. Governor's promised one solution after another. He wants to sell us yet another solution that will fall short of his promises. See, that's a cogent argument to make. If you're going to tell people not to vote on 1A, that's what you need to focus on. Read the text of 1A for yourself. No one's going to do that, but because they know that, they'll paraphrase it for you so you'll feel like you read it. You will see a proposed constitutional amendment filled with complex formulas and convoluted language that is hastily drafted behind closed doors without public hearings or independent analysis of how it will actually work. That's every proposition, but I've already said this. So the rainy day fund should be 12.5% of the budget, and so they're going to have to borrow more money to create that slush fund. So they're saying, hey, we're going to have to get more money from China, so you know that's bad. It's so poorly written, one-size-fits-all approach. And again, send them back, have them do it again. That's really worked so far. Hank Lacayo, State President of California, Congress of California Seniors, Lillian Thais, President of the California Faculty Association, Richard Holliber, Executive Director of the Consumer Federation of California. So they wrote that argument against it. And then here's the but. And then here's the yes on 1A people showing their butt. They're saying the status quo results in irresponsible spending. The status quo brings tax increases and deep cuts. Prevents politicians from spending irresponsibly. It stabilizes California's budget. Protects taxpayers and critical services. If Prop A were in place 10 years ago, we could have avoided $9 billion in tax increases and service cuts this year. I hate it when people talk about that. 10 years ago, I was a bartender. How much has changed in 10 years? You can't talk about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I could have landed the girl of my nightmares, but I didn't realize she liked me. My ignorance saved me. We can no longer afford the status quo. We need budget reform now. Very pie-in-the-sky talking, really. Alan Zarenberg, President of the California Chamber of Commerce. John Kehoe, President of California Senior Advocates League. James Earp, Executive Director of California Alliance for Jobs, not related to Wyatt. So really, this is what Prop 1A really is. We raised our sales tax 1 percentage point last month. So locally, it's 9.5%, 9.75%. Up and down the state, it's, you know, whatever it was before April, but 1 percentage point higher now. Some counties it went up a little more because of other things I passed, but it went up. And that 1% is to help fix the budget. Now, 1A, if it passes, is going to extend it for 2 more years to create that rainy day fund. So that's really where the money is coming from. We're paying for that rainy day fund, and that money is just going to sit over here, and then it's not necessarily going to be used for pork barrel projects. It's going to be, it's like the cousin to the general fund. It's just hanging out. It's just sitting there collecting interest. You know, I'm getting 0.23% right now on my money market accounts. Probably getting that kind of interest. And if this doesn't pass, that 1 percentage point tax increase expires, and we're not going to have the rainy day fund, and then when we need money, we're going to have to find some other way to get it. So the idea is we want that 1 percentage point increase in tax for an extra 2 years, so that money is there, and it's pretty much that cut and dried. Yes, there's fine print that says other things, but there's that in everything. And if you vote yes on 1A, and this is really it right here, it will make it less difficult. The budget problems will not be as pronounced in the future, because we'll have an emergency fund to get into, instead of having to panic and send out IOUs and all of this. It not only is bad because it screws up a lot of people that receive money from the government, whether they're on disability or Social Security. Well, that's federal government, but we're unemployment, you know, like me, for example. See, look at this. Well, that's not my unemployment money. Here's my unemployment money. I wouldn't have got this check, perhaps. That's also not true, actually. Unemployment comes from a separate fund, but just trying to make a point. Now, of course, if Prop 13 didn't pass 30 years ago, we wouldn't have any of these problems, because all of the money that goes to the state is pretty much based on sales tax revenue, and therefore fluctuates from year to year. That's the real reason we have these problems. If we didn't have Prop 13, we wouldn't even need 1A. But we know Prop 13 is not going anywhere anytime soon, because people don't like paying property taxes. People actually like sales tax better because it's based on what they spend. So if they don't want to pay as much in tax, they don't spend as much money. It works out for them. But at the state level, where a lot of the expenses are fixed, like social services, education, benefits, you know, healthcare, first five, all this other stuff, they would prefer a fixed money coming in, since their money going out is fixed. And of course, you know, you need something steady like property taxes to do that. So anyway, vote yes on Prop 1A. I hope this was entertaining. The next 5 days are going to be just like this, so maybe it's time to take a vacation. That's all the time we have today. Visit us on the web at joelshitshow.com. Email joel@joelshitshow.com.